hello. Welcome everyone tonight to the Denise Newsome Show, the show that gives credit where credit is due. My name is Sybil Price Rucker. I am filling in for Denise Newsome, who is currently on assignment. We have an amazing show for you tonight. And before I introduce our guest speaker, we invite you to stay connected to the Denise Newsome Show. So please subscribe to her channel, follow her on all her social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we will be happy to connect with you on letting you know all our upcoming speakers and types of shows that we have going on the Denise Newsome Show. So at this time, we want to welcome an amazing, and talented woman. She is the author of 10 published books. She's a ghostwriter for several published authors. She is a publisher and entrepreneur of her own business, BJ Publishing LLC. You may know her as one of the hosts of the Book Breaker Show. So help me tonight in welcoming the infamous Barbie Johnson to the show. Welcome. How
Oh,
are
yeah. Hello. I'm excited.
I am so excited too. Just reading a little bit about you and just like, oh my goodness, you are just a remarkable woman. And I'm just looking forward to diving in on the conversation and on the interview on tonight. But before we get deep into the questions, why don't you tell us a little bit something for our audience who don't know you?
Well, for the audience who don't know me, I'm just me. I'm who I am, Barbie Johnson. I write books, I publish books, I write other people's stories that want their stories out there who don't have the time to do it themselves. So they get a ghostwriter. Me.
Yes, very good, very good. So, we're going to be talking tonight regarding your first book that you have published, which is Trials to Affliction. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that before we get into how you got into the story in
Mhm.
writing it?
Well, that book is my life story, actually.
Okay.
um, and I wasn't too keen about doing the book in the beginning. So I had to have a little prompting, a little pushing to get it done.
Okay. And what would that prompting and pushing be?
It was my sister. It was my sister actually. Because I would call her and tell her some things that happened, and she would say, "Girl, you need to be writing this down. This is a book. You need to write that book." So she's, just write it down. Write down everything you go through.
And
So
putting
I
it
started
together.
doing that.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about Trials to Affliction, by giving us your testimony and just letting our viewers know pretty much what is in the book, what is the afflictions that you have, and then we can go deeper into how you went about writing it and the type of audience that you were targeting.
Mhm. Well, it's exactly what it says, from trials to affliction. It was like I felt like Job at one point. It was one thing after another. Before something else would let up, something else would start happening um, in my life. And plus, it was some things that I went through. I actually didn't understand them until I was out of them. Well, God had to bring me out because He had to deliver me from some things, Miss Rucker, because I was a messed up chicken. I thought I was okay as a Christian woman. I mean, come on, we don't do everything right.
No, we do
I
not.
thought.
No, we do not. We
But
do.
I want everybody to know I'm talking about me, Barbie, not
That's
you
okay.
all. But
Yeah. So
I thought I was a okay, but I was a messed up chicken, and
So
God had to.
what would be one point in your story that you would really want people to know that's going to make them say, I need to read this book?
That you can be delivered from your demons or your evils, so to speak. You can be delivered from them because I was just messed up.
Okay. Is
I was
there something specific in the book that you might want to share? Just a little something to pique our interest?
well. Oh, the Lord had told me to tell my addiction, but I don't want to give the addiction away. I want you to
Okay.
read the story. But
Mhm.
some one other incident that
Yeah.
almost took me out because I said, God, just let me die. Just let me die. I don't want to go anymore. And that was the loss of my husband. Hmm.
Wow.
Yep. Because for
Wow.
me, that was a hard hit. That was a hard hit for me. And
Wow.
I felt like I couldn't go on. I couldn't go on. And the Lord had to actually speak to me and say, get up out of the bed or you will die.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Because
I
I
can
was
relate to
depressed.
that because I've had, those types of experiences in my life. I've been saved now for over 30 years. I
Right.
have a leadership role in our church and everything.
Mhm. Yeah.
And but so I do agree with you. There are many things, many afflictions that it's hard that we need, we had to face up to God and say, yeah, I need deliverance in this particular area. I really understand that. And I'm sure many people that are here watching tonight can relate to that as well. One of the things that I want to get into is when in writing your book. So, what are some of the trepidations that you found that you had in writing this first book?
Time consuming. It mm, I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to write. Uh,
Right.
but I had to because I had, like I said, God has a way of nudging you. And my sister was my
Tell me
pushing.
about it.
He said, "Did you write anything today?" I said, "No." She's get your paper and pencil, get off this phone and get your paper and pencil and start writing. So I did, but that was what I needed. That was what I needed for
That
me. So
push. Yeah.
yes, so I can just go ahead and do it because I was just procrastinating. I'm just saying. Um, so she pushed me every day. She would call me. I was saying, "Wait a minute, I shouldn't answer the phone because I know what she gonna say."
Yeah.
I said,
So you would find that this was one of your challenges in
yes, yes.
writing the book. Did you have any other challenges or any type of setbacks when you were
Um,
putting this book together?
my setback was um, trying to write it when I was tired because I would mess up and then I would have to go back the next day to fix up my mess up because I was writing and I was writing gibberish. I was too tired to write, so that was one of the setbacks for me. So I had to stop doing that. So when I was tired, I would just completely put it down, just wait, because I knew I was going to have to fix the problems because I was. It was like yang 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 yang. I didn't know what I was writing.
So you've never written a book before. Never.
Not for that one.
So you wasn't even a publisher at the time.
No. Mm-mm,
Interesting.
mm-mm.
Interesting. Because I know, like, even like someone like myself, I know my husband, he's kind of in the same situation too. We want to tell our story. We want to tell some things that God has been really giving us revelation in.
Wow.
And the time is just seems like we never have enough time to write it. We'll start
Absolutely.
it, we'll start putting stuff together, and then at some point you get like a writer's block, I guess that's what they call it.
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and and then you get kind of deterred from it, and then trepidation sets in, like, well, is it going to be good enough? This is my first book, I don't know what I'm doing. And then
Mhm.
money, am I going to be able to publish it? So why don't you share
Absolutely.
with us pretty much from your point of having some of these setbacks, some of these challenges in completing the book, and then going into that set of writing the next book, because for you to start here and have all this difficulty, and then now you're a ghostwriter, you couldn't write for yourself and now you're writing for other people. That's amazing. That's totally amazing. So why don't you share and let us know a little bit about that?
Yeah, for me, again, like I said, it was my sister pushing me to get
Mhm.
it done. But those questions, those things that you were saying were in my head. I'm saying, Lord, okay, now you want me to write this. So how do I get it published? See, God had to walk me through this and put people in my way. I said, God, because I was calling um publishers, but they were like way out in California and Colorado. I'm saying, God, I need somebody right here who can take me by the hand and walk me through this.
Wow.
So I don't know how it happened, but I was invited to go to a one of the Writers Guild, and that's where
Okay.
I met a young lady who was a publisher. I
Wow.
talked to her at the end of the book thing. So we got together, we exchanged phone numbers, and actually she ended up publishing my book, and she walked me through what I needed to go through. So without God intervening, if he had not, I couldn't tell you what I would have done.
That's very interesting. So from that point, when you actually had someone to help you write this book, what was some of the feelings that you, so I'm sure that some of that anxiety kind of like lifted, so to speak. And
Right.
how was the progress? I mean, once that point came in, how soon after were you able to finish your book?
Well, though there were different stages because that didn't happen, like overnight or in a week.
Of
It
course.
took me about, mm, I, I, I think about a good year later.
Wow,
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? That's even pretty quick because I know people like myself who are like started it 10 years ago and
Hmm.
kind of it's been developing over time. And then just I don't know, just kind of just left it on the bookshelf, didn't want to, kind of do much with it. Started to look into something, got caught up with something else.
Right.
So what would be your greatest advice to those, someone like myself, who would want to really take that jump, that leap
Mhm.
into really seriously writing the book?
I would say to you, pursue your dream. That's what God is laying on your heart. Please, by all means, persevere, push through, get that person to push you if you need to push
Yeah.
and get it done. Because somebody else's life may be depending on that book. Their life may be depending on your testimony of what you've gone through and how God brought you out.
Yeah.
Because our lives are connected to people we don't even know, and they're
This
waiting on
yeah.
us to minister to them.
Absolutely. And you have a valid point there because a lot of times, like you said, I have to literally remind myself, it's really not about me. I mean, it's about me
Mhm.
in that sense, but the story needs to get out because it's really about ministering to other people and evangelizing to other people and
Yeah.
saving other people's lives based on our experiences. I truly believe that God has us go through certain things in our life to be a witness to those who may be going through something similar and letting them know that, look, if I was able, if you were able to move past and to move forward from some of the trials and afflictions in our life, then you can do it too. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
absolutely. So it's encouraging to know. It's still very scary. It's still very fearful. And if anybody's watching tonight, if you know someone who is um has trepidations in starting what God has already put in them to start,
Mhm.
um, you need to share this tonight. You need to share this link. Go on your website pages. Not your website, on your social media pages. Please share this link. We are live now, and I believe that this conversation will be able to help you in doing what God is always or has put in your heart to do. Amen. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Because, like I said, I didn't want to do it because I didn't feel like an author while I was writing the book.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later that I
That's
actually it clicked and said, "Bing, you're an author. You are an author now."
wow. So how did you get from being an author going into publishing 10 other books and ghostwriting? How did that happen?
Woo, that was over time. When I actually got the first book in my hand, that is when I felt like, oh, I'm an author. I mean, the realization hit me because I literally had the proof in my hand.
Hmm.
And so at that point, that's when I liked it. I liked writing. So I started writing other books, for myself, and I published my younger sister who passed away. She had
Mm.
poetry that she had written. So again, my sister that was pushing me, she and I got together and decided to publish her works. So we did
Wow.
that. So that was my and it was three, a series of those for
Oh,
the
nice.
book.
And what's the name of that book?
I have it right here with me, and it's because they were, I don't know if you can see them like
We
this.
can. Yes.
Um, Spiritual guidance,
Nice. We see it. Yeah, we can see it.
spiritual inspirations one,
Mm.
and spiritual inspirations two. So all of those were poetries that she penned by her hand before she passed away.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
So we
Wow.
wanted this to kind of be a legacy for her.
That's nice. That's nice. And then what kind of books did you write after it? Like, what would you say is your genre of books that you like to write?
Actually, true to life. That's my main thing, true to life. And there was a point where I thought I was writing a fictional book,
Okay.
but it turned out to be somebody else's story that God had downloaded to me because I ran. Did you have a question? I'm sorry.
No, I said interesting.
I ran something by my sister. I said, "What do you think about this?" And she said, "Oh my God, oh my God, this sounds like so and so life. That's what she's going through." I said, "What?" And I'm thinking I'm writing a fiction, but God was actually giving me somebody else's life. And that book was called In the Church, but Hurting. We have a lot of people who are suffering in silence in the church.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah,
You know what? And just that's a whole different
mm,
interview and conversation
ah,
topic in itself. But just to touch lightly on it, yeah, it is a major thing because we wonder why are there so many Christians, so many believers in God, believers in Jesus Christ that get to different points in their life where they feel stagnant, they feel
mhm,
lost. There's
mhm.
like there's something missing. And it tends to be like for people that's been in it for a long time, for
Right.
a long time. And I've even had those feelings and stuff happen to me. I mean, I've been saved for 30 years. And even when I became a minister and then I also got ordained as an elder,
Mhm,
even during those periods in the last 10 years, I had up and down points of where
mhm,
I
mhm.
felt stagnant
Yeah.
and I didn't know where it was coming from. I'm like, I love God, I
Yeah.
love serving, I love his people, but why do I feel the way I feel? Like there
Right.
is
Exactly.
something missing,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
know? So it's great that we have literature out there that can really touch on that because I believe there's so many people in the body of Christ that is going through that.
Yes. Mhm.
So
And
what did your so in this book this is what your sister went through, right? This is the inspirational one or there was another one you're talking about?
no, that was someone else, but she knew the
Right.
person. Mhm.
So how did that book when that book finally got published and came out, did she know it was about her? or did you have
I
some interaction with her? How was that?
so well, I didn't actually hear anything from her per se, but
Okay.
I'm going by what was said to me that what other people are saying, like someone said, oh my God, it was like you were peeping through the window of their house
Wow.
and seeing.
From beginning to end, and you had no clue of what her story was.
I had no clue because, like I said, I thought I was writing a fiction, but God was downloading it into me.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. And the end result, did it end in a happy note?
It did.
It
It
did.
did. Hmm.
Did the
It did.
person end in a happy note?
Oh,
Praise God.
it did. Hmm.
That's good. That's really, really good. Oh wow. This is phenomenal. So tell us a little bit more. So this is book four, correct? Well, one, two, three, four, maybe. Now what's book five? You got five more to go.
There, there's a book I helped co-publish with Pastor Sharon Smith called Born to Die.
Wow.
But this is about a physical death and a spiritual death.
Okay.
And it's based on the life of Jesus,
Okay.
um, because he was born to die.
Right.
But then there are examples of men and women who go take on those attributes and those jobs.
Mm,
Not that they were born to die, but firefighters, they give their lives trying to help save someone else.
right.
And they end up because they will run into the burning building while we're trying to get out. I'm just saying. And police officers, we don't really look at these people that they're not born to die, but we're all going to die at one point or another. But
Yeah,
they give their lives, they put their lives on the line for us.
that's
But there
good.
was no greater one than Jesus. And he shows us the example of the physical death and the spiritual death.
That's good. That's good. Now that sounds like another amazing book. And why don't you give us the names of the three others that you've written and
Um,
tell us a little bit about those?
okay. I wrote a children's book, and it's called, I don't know if you can see that, Talk It Out.
Talk it out like
Mhm.
that.
This is, again, it was actual true story. It
I'm
was with
sure that has to do with offense.
my it has to do with bullying more so.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of tells you what to do because my stepson and his this guy was they were best friends, and it was just something that rose up between them when they started playing football, and he was chosen as the quarterback and the
Mm,
other guy wasn't. So jealousy came up in there, and there's some stuff that ensued that parents need to know where their children are because they do things that they shouldn't be doing, and they don't tell
yeah.
the parents. Like they try and go and solve it. That's not the way to do it, especially when you go to someone's house and you don't know if that person is a cuckoo or have all their rocks together in their
This
head.
is so true, especially nowadays. You just don't know who you're dealing with, especially with mental illness
Hmm.
on a rise, and so many people that have so many deep rooted, deep seated issues. You just don't know. You just
Right.
don't know anymore, and that's a good book, and especially for children. So is this just your first children's books? Is this something that you're going to continue writing a series of children's book?
I have another children's book called I Was Punked.
Oh,
No, no,
punked.
no, I'm sorry. No, 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 no. That's not it. That's a different thing. Jesus, it's called Children Raising Parents. And again, that
Interesting. What's that about?
to life. It has to do with addiction and issues with parents, and then the children have to take care of them.
I see.
It kind
I
of cuts
see.
into their life of being a kid. They
Yeah.
have to grow up quickly and take care of mom or dad, whichever. It's
Yeah.
just things that we see because I was primarily a teacher, so for 20 some odd years, and
What
mhm,
grade did you teach?
I taught kindergarten through 5th grade.
Wow.
Hmm.
So you got them in the early years. So
Yeah,
I'm sure you've seen a lot. Yeah,
mhm. Some things I didn't want to see, but I'm
yeah,
seeing. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
That's
that's interesting. So you're going to continue on this path with writing more children's book? Is this going to be a series of books that people can look for? Are they on Amazon?
No, they're not on Amazon, unfortunately. But anyone that wants to view them or see them, they can go to my website, which is bjpublishing.com. And that's BEEJAY
Publishing.
publishing.com.
That's
Mm-hmm. You can
.com, and we're going to get that information posted up so this way, even on the second half, that it will come across the screen at the bottom. We will make sure that information will be on there. So, Barbara, at this point, we're going to take a quick break. We are going to have a commercial break at this time. And when we come back, those who are watching, please, if you have someone that's interested in writing a book and wanting to get it published, we're going to talk a little bit more of that on the second half of the show. So that would be a perfect time for you to get those shared links out there and like and subscribe so we can continue in this awesome interview. And we'll be right back.
don't go away.
Don't go away.
Dr. Kiana Battle gives service from the heart, focusing on training, education, and professional development. Specialty areas include grief and loss, trauma, informed practice, policy development, grant writing development, public school social work education, professional presentation, and youth and adolescent development. Consulting service fees are based on specific specialty areas. There is no charge for the initial consulting. You can contact Dr. Kiana Battle today by emailing her at info@kbattleconsulting.com or visit her website at www.kbattleconsulting.com.
Hello, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the Denise Newsome Show, the show that gives credit where credit is due. We just want to thank our sponsors. The commercials you have just seen, Dr. Kiana Battle, UOU LLC, that is a natural and organic self-care products, which you can find on their website, shopuou.com. We also want to thank author Robin Vilma and Tanya Jackson. We want to welcome everyone back to the Denise Newsome Show. We are here with the phenomenal Barbie Johnson. She is the author of 10 published books, a ghostwriter for several published authors. She is a publisher and entrepreneur of her own business, BJ Publishing LLC. And many of you may know her as being one of the hosts of the Book Breaker Show. We want to welcome back Barbie Johnson. How are you?
Hi, great.
It's so good. We had a wonderful on the first half. We had a wonderful discussion in talking about how you started and when you published your first book, Trials to Affliction. You gave us some samples of some of the books that you have written over time, and just shared with us some of the trepidations and the challenges that you have had in writing these books. But in the second half, we're going to talk a little bit about those challenges, and we want to talk more about what other people who want to get into book writing that may be a little fearful and may not have the means and the time to book write. Let's talk about some of those things that you have gone through and maybe share with them on some obstacles and how they've overcome and what they can do in writing their first book.
Again,
Again,
thanks to my sister.
yes,
You really, well, for me, let me say it that way. I really needed someone to push me. You may need someone to push you too, to help you get through that part where you say, please, this isn't worth it. It's worth it. If God is unctioning you to do this, it is worth it. It definitely is. So you may need to find someone that'll give you that push, to help you get it completed. Because sometimes the enemy will come in and try and steal what God is trying to put in you to bring out. Um,
absolutely.
that's going to help other people.
I totally agree with that. And you had shared your story how you were connected with a person who actually ended up writing your first book.
Absolutely.
And just share a little bit that again for those who missed our first half and kind of just touch on it briefly. Just letting people know you never know who you may connect with or who God may connect you with. And that could be a sign to, like, all right, it's time to get
Mhm.
this thing going.
Absolutely, because you have to do some work too. You have to do some footwork, but prayer. I had to pray because, like I said, I knew nothing about writing or doing any of that. So I pray for God to connect me with someone. You may need to pray too and ask for God's divine intervention and guidance because sometimes we don't know the way to take, but He said He would lead and guide us, in the right path and the way to go. So, like I said, I don't even remember how I ended up getting invited to the Writers Guild for the book showing that they were doing.
Mhm.
And but I went and I met this the person that published my book. She was a publisher. She published my book and walked me through what I needed to go through. Um, so you may need someone to take you by your hand and lead you through, but be prayerful about it and everything. But don't quit. Don't ever give up. Don't ever think that because thoughts are going to come. Yes, they are, because the enemy don't want you to put the information out
Absolutely.
there because you're making everyone else aware of his tactics and how to combat them and overcome them. So
Absolutely.
never give up, never quit. Just persevere, keep pushing through. Hmm.
That's good. That's good. That's good help. And as I mentioned before, we all can fall short of that in thinking we're not good enough or, how we're going to get it out there in the time. What was some of the, if you could share, what was some of the steps that the publisher kind of guide you to overcome that trepidation in getting on that path into writing to complete the book?
Well, she took me by the hand. Actually, she had me right there by her side. She sat me right beside her, and she
Wow.
walked me through and say, "Look, this is what you do. This is this. This is good that you have here, but we want to try and shift it." I mean, because she just laid it down for me what I needed to do. Even though my life was in chronological order, it doesn't always read smooth that way.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
Yeah,
She said,
that's a good point. And I
"Mhm,
think that's where some people get kind of stuck at
yeah,
because they kind of think that there's an order
mm,
to writing it. And there may be an outline format. We get that. But
mhm."
if it's your story, just write the story and you can always fill in and change, I assume, right?
Well, you can
You
fill
can.
in and change.
You can. And well, let me ask you this. So after all of the some of the what well, let me put it to you this way. Let me ask it this way. I'm jumbling with my mouths because I'm like, I have so many questions. I don't know which one to go first. So since you wrote each of these, you published these books, at which point of the books that you published did you became a ghostwriter? Was it after your fifth book, your sixth book?
I believe that was around my, hold up, I have to count. Um, Fifth. It was my fifth book because someone came to me and asked me if I would do their story. Hmm. And
Now,
I did.
did you find it easier to ghostwrite as opposed to writing your own books?
In strangely, in a sense, yeah, I did because it wasn't my story. I'm just saying, but
Yeah.
for now, you can get some that you have to pull teeth with because
Mhm,
they'll just give you an excerpt and tell you to go finish it. Okay,
mhm,
so but
mhm.
I did find it interestingly easier. Like I said, except for those you had to pull teeth with because some people don't want to talk and tell you the story because they feel like, how do I say it and keep it nice to be like older people. I guess it's like some kind of stigma, a taboo that they don't want to come out and talk about sexual things. So you,
Right.
okay, if you don't want to tell that, but how are you going to tell your story if you don't give the example? I'm just saying that's what I would say. I mean, I see it's out there. You live this. You live through this attack of someone
Yeah.
doing this to you. So yeah, you need to be graphic with it. You need to be explicit with it. So
Yeah.
um,
And I totally agree with you because I think that's what makes it more real,
mhm,
especially for someone that is dealing with the same issues and the same addictions.
mhm,
You can't, just write it on the surface. You really got to get deep
mhm,
into what you were really addicted to and how it really changed you and what some of the things you did and kind of what your mindset was at the
absolutely.
time of doing it, whether it's pornography, whether it's molestation, whether,
Absolutely.
whatever it may be, someone else is dealing with that same thing. And
Mhm,
if God has given us the ability to overcome that and to be a witness for someone else, just as much as you needed to get through it and maybe had some help
absolutely.
reading somebody else's story, somebody needs to read yours. So,
Absolutely.
audience, people out there, if you're listening, if you're watching, remember, if you have a story to tell, this is a perfect opportunity to really start thinking about it's not about ourselves, it's really about the people that we're helping. And Barbie Johnson is the example of getting this done. Not only did she was she able to do one, but she was able to do several, up to 10, and
Mhm.
even become a ghostwriter. Now, let's say someone doesn't really just have the time. Can they contact you to ghostwrite?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Sure.
Mhm.
And her website, I believe you said is bjpublishing.com, and that's BEE.
Yes,
J-A-Y. There it goes. It's he put a
that's it.
bjpublishing.com. And for all the information that you want in her books, her published books, her story, um, the ability to request ghostwriting or publishing. That is the website to go to. Again, that's bjpublishing.com, and that's BEEJAY
Absolutely.
publishing.com. Hey, you got to be specific. BJ.
Yeah, because you may get someone else.
And who knows what will come up. And we want to make sure that we get our audience to the right website. So, Barbara, we just have like another 10 minutes or so to go. Tell us a little bit how you started your publishing company.
Um, I started it. Well, I went to school because I said I want to know from the ground up, and I went for business so I could do what I needed to do and know what I was doing. So I
Right.
went to school at night to because I was at the time I was still teaching. Um,
And what type of course did you take?
um, um, mm, I can't even remember. I know I went for 3 years. Mm. It
Oh, so
had to
you
do
have a
with management. It had to do
this
with
is just not
um,
classes. You actually have a degree in
uh,
publishing.
yeah, right. So,
Nice, nice.
I had to everything, taxes, employing others. Ooh, it was a lot. It was
Yeah.
a lot. Um, um, mm,
So everything in starting the business, you have taken classes on, you've decided that you wanted to open up a business, be an entrepreneur in
right.
publishing.
Yeah.
So why don't you walk us through that process? Let's say that I need to get my book out there, and I really don't have time to do it. I need a ghostwriter and I need a publisher. What would you tell me? What how you can help me get my book out there with your services?
Well, hey, I'm a ghostwriter. Hello, that's what I do. And publish the books. Hello, that's what I do. Um, hey, you want to talk to me on the side? That's okay too. You have my website. My
Yeah, we'll
email
put it back
address.
up. You're gonna put it back up again. Don't worry.
Get
Again,
an
for
email
everyone that's
address.
listening, it's BJ Publishing. That's BEEJAY
Mhm,
Publishing .com, and we can leave that up there for a little bit. But if a person wanted to come in to use your services, do they have to have something written? Do they have to put something together? Like, what is that process and how does that work?
I would like for them to have something together or started.
Okay.
Then we will be in contact, consulting to get it completed. But I would need some more information because once you give me the gist of what you want in there, I can go from there.
Okay, and this would be all types of book, whether it's a children's book, whether it's some type of inspirational book like what your sister did,
Absolutely.
or some type of novel, whether it's a autobiography or not. So you do it all, publish it all. That's wonderful.
Yes.
And we never do like to discuss dollar amounts, but there may be some people that may be asking, is it very expensive to write a book?
Well, it depends on who you use. It
Yeah.
can be. But if you look up fees for ghostwriter, you will see what it is.
Okay. Okay, so do your homework out there, and then you give Miss Barbie Johnson a call, and I guarantee you she will have the right number for you to get your book published and get it out there. This is
Absolutely.
absolutely wonderful. Barbie, just one more question. I'm very interested to know is when you got halfway through writing your books,
Mhm.
um how what was your feeling? Was there a feeling of accomplishment? Was there a feeling of you got over the hump? Want to share with us what was your gratification in knowing from where you started being
Mhm.
fearful and then getting over that hump and then taking off? Why don't you explain to what that was like?
For me, actually, in doing my book, I got healing for myself
Wow.
doing it. So
Wow.
God takes you through things so you can be healed, and
Hmm.
then you can tell other people how to be healed. That was a great gratification for me because some things got lifted from me. I realized who I was before and who I am now. Before, I don't think I was really pleasing in God's sight, but he knew what I needed and he knew what was in me, so he had to get it out anyway. So sometimes we need deliverance for ourselves, and the biggest part again is not to give up, not to give up, because I never thought I would be a writer, never, but it was there. So God had to bring that out in me. So he's maybe trying to bring something out in you when you want to do this book, or you're saying, maybe I can't do it, but he's trying to bring something out in you to reveal you, to let you know who you are and who he needs you to be.
Wow, that's powerful. That's really powerful. I hope you guys listening out there because that's very powerful, and thank you for sharing that with us. Um, Now, Barbie, what would you say is one of the most gratifying successes that you've had in all your work in publishing and ghostwriting? Did this give you the opportunity to become well known? Do you do speaking engagements? What is that like?
Well, I speak, well, mostly I minister to other people. Um, but God mostly had me doing that one on one for now. But I was asked to come and speak, but then COVID hit. So
Yeah.
that kind of threw that off. Um, but whatever He had me to do, I'm willing.
And where are you located at this time? Or what state are you staying in? Are
Oh,
you here in New
I'm
York?
in Maryland. No, I'm in Maryland.
Oh, you're in Maryland.
Yes,
Oh, wow, that's
Baltimore,
great.
Maryland. Hello.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. I have family that lives down in Maryland. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just down there last weekend too, down by Largo, Maryland. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's a little further south from you, but
Right.
nice. Yeah, so that's wonderful. That's a wonderful experience. We have maybe about another 7 minutes to go. Is there anything that you would like to share with our audience? Anything specific from any of your books? Maybe a little something from your Trials to Affliction that if I had to give you 5 minutes to kind of minister to someone on a specific need, let God use you at this moment and have this opportunity, what would you say?
I would say when your trial come to you, you're being bombarded over and over and over again, one thing after another. Don't forget to get on your knees and pray or walk. Sometimes you have to do spiritual warfare,
Oh,
because I
wow.
had a battle with this one woman who kept coming after me to really you know take me
Wow.
out, bring me down,
Wow.
um, because I was teaching, like I said, at the time, and she was after me. Even people will bring up information that's not even yours. She trying to shows some information like, is this you? I'm saying, no, that's not even my birthday. Who is this? She said, well, this is what we found. I was like, well, my life is an open book. What? You need to read the book. That's what you need to do. I'm saying, this is what I'm saying to her, but she was just stuck on trying to find something on me to taint me. It's in the book. Read it.
Wow. Wow.
Read it.
Wow. So if anybody's had anyone that has been on you, after you, chasing you, wanting to do harm to you, this is the book that you need to purchase, Trials to Afflictions. I'm sure this is one of many stories that
Yes,
you have
yes.
gone through. Powerful, powerful, powerful interview on tonight. uh Barbie, I just, there's just so much I would love to ask you. We have such short time. I just love talking with you.
Call me
You
later. Let me
well, you are such an inspiration and a motivator. I just want to thank you because
Thank
just
you.
listening to you and just thinking like, wow. And I'm sure there's many others that are watching here tonight that would say, you know, what's stopping me from putting my story out there? What's stopping me from, getting the assistance that I need? And sometimes we think that we can just do everything on our own, but God will put people in
Yes.
your path to help you get your story out. And I
Mhm.
think that's so important. And there's so many of us that, even the strongest of people have some sort of trepidation in something. And
Yes.
it's a matter of overcoming these fears.
Yes.
And I really do believe that the enemy just really magnifies it even more, because like you said, he doesn't want us to get that story out there. He doesn't
Exactly.
want to see other people healed. And I've
Exactly.
always said, even in ministering to people, is like, don't become a trophy on the devil's mantle. We
Hmm.
can't allow
Absolutely.
ourselves to
Absolutely.
do that. And every time the enemy has that trophy on his mantle of something that we could not overcome,
Mhm.
we have to really look to God and say, God, why can I do this? And God said, you can do this. I'm
Mhm.
in you.
Mhm.
Greater is he
Absolutely.
that is in me than he that is in the world. We can, you
Absolutely.
can do this. So this is just a powerful story in just knowing that uh you know you started out with one. It's so fearful, and look where you are now. You went from
Hey.
one to 10 books to publishing to ghostwriting, so fearful in writing your own story, and now you're writing for other people. How powerful is that?
No,
That is really marvelous,
only
marvelous.
by God's grace. Only
Only
by
by
His
God's
grace.
grace. Yes,
Hmm.
yes. Any last words or anything that you want to share with our audience, Barbie?
Um, just never give up hope. Never give up on your dreams. Because they God will bring them forth.
He will.
You believe it, He will bring it forth.
He will. He will. And we got to believe in ourselves too, and believe that God can do it.
Absolutely.
Well, Barbie Jones, I just want to thank you so much. You just been
Thank
such an
you.
inspiration. Why don't you just let our audience know some of your information? Besides, do you have any emails? Can we follow you on social media? Do you have any other platforms that we can look forward to connecting you with?
Yeah, I have a podcast that's on it's usually on Mondays, but I'm here with you.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely. I'm on Facebook. Um, and if they can contact me also on my email, Johnson Barb Barb 75 at yahoo.com.
All right, Derek, if you can put that up, that's say that one more time.
Johnson Barb Barb 75 at yahoo.com.
Okay, that's great. So that's Johnson Barb 75 at gmail.com. You can also reach her by
Yahoo.
email there
Yahoo.
at Yahoo. Sorry about that. At Yahoo. Scratch the Gmail at Yahoo. So we'll repeat that again. That is
There
Johnson
you go.
Barb, Barb, and
Mhm.
75 at yahoo.com. There you go. It's written up there for everyone to see. And also remember that you can reach her by her website, which is BJ Production. I'm sorry, Publishing. There you go. That's BJ. That's BEEJAY publishing.com. You can find Barbie Johnson information on there. And what is the name of the show that you're on? This is the
It's still called The Book Breakers.
The Book Break. And what?
The
And
Book
tell us what
Breaker.
that's about. A little bit about.
It's about helping other people to mainly put their story out there if they have something of interest that they want to share or do, like singers, musicians. You don't necessarily have to have a book,
Okay.
but
Okay, so we do have it up. It's called the Book Breaker Podcast. It's on Facebook and you have it on YouTube as well.
yes.
Okay. So, and this usually coincides with the Denise Newsome show. But the great thing about social media and subscribing to channels is you can always watch the rewind.
That's
So if
it.
you're after the Denise Newsome show, you can also go over and watch the rewind of the Book Breaker podcast or vice versa, whatever your fancy may be. But Barbie, we just want to thank you once again for coming on the Denise Newsome show. Again, I'm your host, Sybil Price Rucker, here standing in for Denise Newsome, who is currently on assignment. Please keep her in your prayers as she's doing great work for the kingdom. I'm sure she watched a smidgen of the show on tonight or will be watching the rerun of it. Nisi, we love you. We love you. We love you so much. And thank you again for even allowing me to sit in your set and to interview this phenomenal woman. Oh my God, Barbie Johnson.
Thank you, Miss Rocker.
You have inspired me. You could call me Sybil, please. You have inspired me so much. And we just want to thank you. So if anybody wants more information, you have something that you want to get written, you don't quite know how to do it, you're looking for a ghostwriter, or you're even looking for someone to publish your book, please reach out to bjpublishing.com. That's BEEJAY publishing.com. And Barbie Johnson will be able to connect with you. Please go out and buy her books. You can find them also on her website. Her first published book, which is Phenomenal Trials to Affliction. I'm sure everyone who reads that book can glean something great out of that. So again, Barbie, we just want to thank you again for being on the Denise Newsome show, the show that gives credit where credit is due. And on next week, to all our viewers, on next Monday, even though it is a holiday weekend, but we do have Reverend Tevin Jones. He is the pastor from New Philadelphia Baptist Church in Los Angeles, and he will be coming on next Monday to give you the word. So you do not miss that. And that would be on Monday, I believe that is the 3rd, July 3rd at 8 p.m. Again, we want to thank Barbie Johnson for tuning in. We thank everyone who has joined into tonight's broadcast, and we will see you on next Monday.
Thank you for tuning in to this evening's broadcast. The Denise Newsome Show, the show that gives credit where credit is due, has a new monthly show schedule. New show times are as follows. The first Monday of the month will be a powerful word of God. The second Monday is In Your Element, where our guests share their gifts and talents. On the third Monday, join the ladies of Mask Off, where authentic conversations happen, with our hostesses Denise Newsome, Sybil Price Rucker, and Deidra Moody. And on the fourth Monday is Sitting with Denise. All show times are from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share at The Denise Newsome Show. Increase your brand's awareness by advertising with The Denise Newsome Show. Let Denise help you to get your message out. She offers a 30-second video commercial or voiceover flyer with your information. Contact Denise at denisenewsome.com or email her at denisenewsome64@gmail.com for more information. Help The Denise Newsome Show give credit where credit is due. You can contact Denise today at www.denisenewsome.com or by emailing her at denisenewsome64@gmail.com with a love offering or sponsorship gift to help her keep the show running. You are appreciated at The Denise Newsome Show, and she looks forward to hearing from you. The views and opinions expressed in the content or comments on the Denise Newsome Show are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by the Denise Newsome Show. Next week on the Denise Newsome Show will be a powerful word of God from Pastor Tevin Jones of New Philadelphia Missionary Baptist Church in Los Angeles, California.